My name is Attorney Tyson Cain with Cain Estate Law. If you have minor children at home and you intend to write a will, a trust, or a power of attorney, choosing guardians for your kids is one of the most important things you can do. It's also one of the most difficult, especially if you're working with a spouse who may not agree with your nominees. So I've created this chart for you, this spreadsheet, that you can use to make the decision easier. In this video, I'd like to go through the spreadsheet and explain how it works and how it can make your decision easier. I would just recommend starting with the criteria descriptions tab. Behind this tab, I have the descriptions of each of the 9 criteria that I've selected that I feel are probably some of the most important considerations in making the decision about who will be your children's guardian. There are 9 of them, as I said, and I would recommend reading them closely. For example, values. You want to make sure that the guardian's values, the moral, ethical, and possibly that person's religious beliefs, aligns with yours and is a strong match with your family's values so that that child has the kind of stability and upbringing that you prefer. And so go through each of these and read them for yourselves until you understand them. When you finish reading this and you think you understand each of the criteria that I've listed, then I would recommend going to the Nominee Notes, the last tab on the bottom, where you can actually insert the names of your nominees. Now, you need to insert at least 2 to make this spreadsheet work, but you can have up to 3 as well. And in the blue text box, you'll enter the names, and below each of the names, you can enter a description, a short description of that person's values, home stability, health, and so on. These notes will help you evaluate in an informal way before you get to assigning numbers and weights to each of the criteria, and so on. When you're finished, then we can return to the evaluation tab. Okay, so here we are at the evaluation tab, the first tab on the bottom. This is where the main work is done. This is divided into 2 parts, the instructions at the bottom and the main chart at the top. I would recommend reading the instructions, especially if you find something in this video confusing. But they should be enough to make the work doable without even watching the video. So do have a look at the bottom instructions here. But let's go to the top and take a look at the main chart. Okay, along the top we have the possible guardians and scores. The scores are going to be 1 through 10. We'll get to that momentarily. Okay, and I've had 2 nominees listed, Tom and Sally. Perhaps Tom's my brother, Sally's my aunt, or somebody else, a neighbor, a friend that I want to nominate within my will to be the guardian of my child or children. Okay, so that's the first step you're going to do, is list your names at the top in these blue boxes. Then go over to the weight column and assign a weight to each of the criteria. So parenting style, in this case, gets 3, which is the greatest weight you can have, while location gets a 1. It's the least weight. It's 1/3 the weight of parenting style. These are very subjective weights, so I invite you to put your own weights in if you find that these are not appropriate for you. After you have assigned weights to each of the criteria, then I would go back to the columns beneath your nominees and begin listing the scores for each of the criteria. In parenting style, for example, Tom may score very high, while Sally is good but not quite as good as Tom. And do this for each of the various criteria that I've listed. And I've given you some different numbers, but you can enter any numbers you'd like. And the math will be done for you within this spreadsheet. And after you're finished, you go to the bottom part of the chart where you see the rank, and that will give you your ultimate ranking. This is the information you're really looking for next to the blue arrow. So Sally is clearly the best, followed by Tom, and of course our no-name guardian is going to be 3rd. So of your 2 nominees, Sally is the best, Tom is the 2nd best, and perhaps can be named as a backup guardian. That's all there is to it. Now, if you have questions, I invite you to contact me. Go to my website for more information. That's cainestatelaw.com. Or call me at 715-301-0055 or send an email to tyson@cainestatelaw.com.